Lopez. The TV network was also grilled on the airing of content on its cable channel while its legislative franchise is expired. Marian Enriquez with the rest of the story.
Pwede ba naming hilingin sa inyo na i-recite ninyo yung unang linya ng Panatang Makabayan?
That was House Deputy Speaker Rodante Marcoleta asking ABS-CBN Chairman Emeritus Gabby Lopez III to recite the first line of the Panatang Makabayan, or the Patriotic Oath of the Philippines. During yesterday's joint committee hearing, still on the franchise renewal bid of ABS-CBN, Marcoleta once again questioned the citizenship of the ABS-CBN executive. Born in the U.S. to a Filipino father and mother, Lopez stressed that despite being a dual citizen, he has no allegiance with the U.S. and that he is 100% Filipino.
My being a U.S. citizen is strictly a consequence of my father's going to school in America. So why should an accident of nature be a defining issue about whether I'm a Filipino or not? Shouldn't it be based on my actions and what I have done?
But that will not change the fact that you are still an American. That's the very issue. Kaya ang tanong lang po napakasimple, napakalaking sakripisyo ba na i-renounce ninyo ang inyong pagiging Amerikano?
Hindi
Yes
po.
or no?
Marcoleta has since been grilling Lopez on his citizenship, asserting the provision on the 1987 Constitution, which states that mass media companies should be wholly Filipino-owned. Lopez's counsel, Mario Bautista, stressed that for the longest time, the government never questioned his eligibility to own and control ABS-CBN.
Tama po yung sinabi ni Vice Chair Remulla. Pero wala rin pong nagsasabi na kailangan po, Pilipino lang kayo to be an owner or a manager of mass media. At gaya po ng sinabi ko, wala po kaming nahanap sa kaso o batas na pinagbabawal ang dual citizen na magkaroon ng interest as a manager or owner of a media company. Wala po talaga.
The Department of Justice and the Securities and Exchange Commission seem to be on the same page.
Okay, so dual allegiance, there is none. Pag sabi niyo po sa dual citizenship, may decision na. I will go particularly on mass media. Is there already a decision on dual citizenship and mass media?
Our interpretation, not just of the mass media provision of the Constitution, but also other provisions that nationalize certain activities to Filipinos, such as the ownership of land, such as operations of public utility. Our view is consistent with the view of the SEC, which was stated earlier, in the sense that we don't make a distinction between dual citizens and purely Filipino citizens.
Our interpretation of the dual citizenship law has been similar to that of the Department of Justice. So the interpretation po of RA 9225 is that a dual citizen is 100% Filipino. Yan po yung current interpretation namin.
SEC Commissioner Efiro Luis Amatong notes, however, that the rules on owning mass media entities are still pending before the Supreme Court and that their standing opinion is only for dual citizens' right to own property and engage in businesses in the country. Meanwhile, Marcoleta also questioned ABS-CBN's continuous airing through its own cable subsidiary Sky Cable.
But I'd like to know on what authority Sky Cable is still airing their programs through this channel, despite the fact that the franchise, as the records will bear us all, it expired last March 30, 2020. Is the NTC aware of this, Mr. Chair? And if they are aware, why is it that they consented in airing the program?
Gamaliel Cordoba of the National Telecommunications Commission explained that an executive order by former President Cory Aquino removed the requirement of a legislative franchise for cable TV operations.
And actually po, yung mga ibang cable TV operators ay pag nag-apply po sa amin, ay wala naman po silang prangkisa na sinasubmit. At hindi na po sila kumuha ng prangkisa sa amin, sa legislative branch of government. Ang ginagawa po nila ay nag-incorporate lang po sila sa SEC at saka po nagsasubmit ng aplikasyon sa National Telecommunications Commission.
But Marcoleta claimed that Sky Cable asked for a legislative franchise from Congress. ABS-CBN and the NTC were not able to answer as the joint hearing was suspended, citing overtime. For News 5, Marian Enriquez. We are One News.
And small business owners from 7 regions will not be included in the second tranche of the government's Small Business Wage Subsidy, or SBWS. That's according to President Duterte's latest report to Congress. Also excluded in the second tranche are beneficiaries of the Labor Department's cash aid in regions 4B, 5, 8, 9, as well as 12, and the Cordillera Administrative Region, or CAR, and the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. The president says these workers were deemed ineligible because the cash aid is equal to DOLE's subsidy of 5,000 pesos under the department's COVID-19 Adjustment Measures Program, or CAMP. SBWS, or the 51 billion peso financial aid, ranges from 5,000 to 8,000 pesos per tranche for each beneficiary depending on his or her region's minimum wage. So far, 193,000 out of 580,000 camp beneficiaries have already received aid from the first tranche of SBWS. And the Davao region is now accepting LSIs, or locally stranded individuals, from several areas in the country through limited flights. Let's check out the situation on the ground with Jem Avancenia, who joins us live. Jem, kamusta? What's the situation like at the airport right now?
Sean, Davao International Airport is now operational for commercial flights as it reopened yesterday, June 8. But unlike yesterday, only few individuals are here outside the terminal, and most of them were addressing concerns about their bookings. According to Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines office in Davao, flights are still limited. Davao-Manila flights will be scheduled Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays with only one flight per day. Tuesdays and Thursdays are for Davao-Cebu flights, while Davao-Clark flights are scheduled every Saturday. On top of the scheduled commercial flights, the airport continues to serve sweeper flights. In fact, 2 sweeper flights from Manila are expected to arrive today. Passengers who will arrive today will undergo strict health screening and will be escorted going to their homes. And as we can see here, only security personnel are roaming around the departure area since Davao-Cebu flight passengers were already inside the terminal waiting for their departure. This is quite different compared to yesterday's situation, as many passengers went here hoping that they could book and ride a flight at the same time. But authorities advised passengers to secure a ticket first before going here to avoid hassle. Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte announced yesterday that travelers within the Davao region won't need to secure travel authority anymore, but they have to present medical certificates on checkpoints. Sean, Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte reminded those passengers who will be going out of Davao region to secure their travel authorities at Davao City Police Office. Sean?
All right, Jem, how are the sweeper flights going? You mentioned that there are a couple of sweeper flights. Are they OFWs? Are there students? Personally, I have my friend's brother is also stranded here. He is from Davao, trying to get back. We heard it's quite complicated to get the clearances. So can you paint us a picture of exactly what a person has to go through to be able to get back home to Davao City?
Sean, according to authorities, of course, they really have to secure a travel authority and a medical certificate indicating that they are not PUI nor PUM because of COVID-19. And of course, after they arrive here at Davao International Airport, they will have to undergo strict health screening. And last time we've heard that they really have to undergo RDT. And if they fail the health screening, they will be sent to Southern Philippines Medical Center for retesting and isolation. Sean?
All right, yesterday, Jem, while I was on shift as well, we were having a report out of the NAIA here. We were showing in the background the Gerard de la Peña some 200 plus stranded individuals. A lot of them, he mentioned, were headed to Jensan. Would this be a completely different thing? I think a lot of people also fly through Davao to get to General Santos. How does this work, and are any of these stranded or previously stranded passengers over at the NAIA from yesterday currently there at the Davao Airport?
As to confirmation, Sean, if those stranded passengers in NAIA yesterday were included in the sweeper flight that will arrive today, we still don't have any confirmation. But for those who are planning to go to General Santos City via Davao City, they still could get a flight, and then from here to Davao City, they could travel by land going to General Santos City. They will have to, of course, secure, as what I've said a while ago, travel authority and medical certificate, since they will be going outside the Davao region. Sean?
All right, thank you very much for all your updates and that information. Jem Avancenia joining us live from the Davao International Airport. Thanks, Jem. We're pausing for a quick break, but we will be back with more stories after that. Stay with us here on One News. Welcome back to One News Now. Street vendors in Baclaran, Parañaque are asking the local government to allocate a space for them to make a living amid quarantine rules. Justine Punsalang reports to us live from Baclaran. Justine, kamusta ang ating mga tindera dyan?
Sean, vendors in Baclaran, Parañaque are fully aware that selling along the streets, especially the main road, is strictly prohibited. However, after 3 months of no income, they have to take action in order to feed their families. Just yesterday, a clearing operation was conducted by the mayor's support group along Quirino Avenue. This is where illegally parked pedicabs and tricycles were parked. As such, they were impounded. Stalls and carts used by the vendors were also dismantled and confiscated. Vendors even claimed that the operation eventually escalated into a heated exchange between the task force members and other fellow vendors. The vendors admit that they know that they are prohibited to sell along the streets, but they have no other choice. Hence, they are asking the local government of Parañaque to provide a space for them to do business even for just limited hours. The Parañaque government or Parañaque city government says that while it understands the plight of the vendors, social distancing must be enforced while the country is still battling with the COVID-19 health crisis. The LGU, however, assures that it is pushing for a people's market that can permanently accommodate up to 3,500 vendors.
Mayroon tayong batas at desisyon ng Supreme Court that public places and public thoroughfare are beyond the commerce of men. And therefore, hindi sila po pwede magtinda. Pagkatapos, ang kalagayan ho ng ating city ngayon, lalong-lalo na kung meron tayong pandemic issue, isa sa mga ina-avoid ho natin sa pagsunod ng patakaran ng IATF at saka national government ay yung tinatawag natin social distancing.
Sean, the city admin of Parañaque, said that the People's Market is just waiting for the go signal of the national government. But right now, or for now, they are asking for the understanding and cooperation of the vendors to not sell along the road. If they insist in doing so, the task force will have no choice but to continuously confiscate or destruct the stalls and carts of the vendors. Sean?
All right, Justine, well, while it's understandable that social distancing rules are still in place and strict rules are still in place under quarantine or while we are under GCQ, is the government doing anything at all for these vendors? Is there a plan for them? Are they getting some sort of ayuda or some sort of cash aid, anything?
Well, according to the vendors that we've spoken to, they did not receive any aid from the government. But here in Parañaque City, the government has said that they have distributed food packs for those who were affected by the 2 lockdowns or calibrated lockdowns. As for the vendors, however, we did not receive information regarding that, but the government said that they are pushing for the People's Market where the vendors, the now illegally considered illegal vendors, could stay for permanently, where they could sell their products. But right now they are just waiting for the go signal from the national government so that these vendors will have permanent homes or permanent stalls where they can sell their products. Sean?
Last clarification, Justine, when you say go signal from the national government, does this mean when ECQ or GCQ rather is lifted or when they make it less strict, then they will be ready to open the People's Market? Is that what you mean?
Well, actually, Sean, according to the city administrator of Parañaque, they already have a 100 million peso budget for the People's Market. And it was actually, it was planned even way before the COVID-19 entered the country. But I guess the crisis halted the planning and the construction of the People's Market. And right now, they are still waiting for the go signal. It is not clear whether the go signal will be given after the GCQ or within the GCQ or after the COVID-19 crisis in the Philippines. Sean?
All right, no certainty for the Baclaran vendors for now. Thank you for that update. News 5's Justine Punsalang joining us live from Baclaran. Meanwhile, the World Bank says the ongoing health crisis is expected to plunge the global economy into the worst recession in 150 years. In its latest report, the multilateral lender forecasts that the world economy will shrink by 5.2% this year. That would represent the deepest recession since World War II. But the sheer number of countries suffering economic losses means that the scale of the downturn is much worse than any recession since 1870. According to the World Bank, the blow or the hardest hit are infected countries that rely heavily on global trade, tourism, commodity exports, and external financing. And the Bicol Party List representative Alfredo Garbin calls for heavier penalties against unreasonable cancellation of orders from online delivery services. In an interview with 1PH, Garbin, who authored the Food and Grocery Delivery Services Bill, says that prank orders, especially those that are canceled after the rider has already paid for the items, should be punished heftily. Garbin notes that riders under these services are considered frontliners with quarantine measures still in place as the country continues to battle with COVID-19. Garbin says unjustified cancellation of orders must be sanctioned with up to 6 years of imprisonment. The bill also seeks to include safety measures on the food and grocery delivery services to ensure the legitimacy of orders.
Ang dami talagang biktima ng mga frankster na to, lalong-lalo na yung mga nanloloko, na kung saan ang biktima yung mga service providers or yung mga riders na nangangapital lang naman at talagang nalulugi sa kanilang mga negosyo. So nakakaawa. And we have to put a stop on it, and we have to announce that this will be criminalized and will be fined and will be imposed a penalty of imprisonment para matakot naman sila.
And free Wi-Fi might soon be a possibility as schools prepare for the shift to so-called blended learning come reopening of classes on August 24. In President Duterte's latest report to Congress, he says that the Department of Information and Communications Technology, or DICT, will be coordinating with the Education Department as well as the Commission on Higher Education for the rollout of the plan. The DICT will be tapping state universities and colleges, as well as other educational institutions, to help implement the program. DepEd has earlier announced that face-to-face classes are officially banned until a COVID-19 vaccine becomes available. For more updates, follow News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World Online. I'm Sean Yao, and we are One News.